Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Week 5 at CEA Corporate Esports Association Starcraft 2 Spring 2020 season, where we'll be casting the match today between the Red Hatlings and eagleviewSC2. I'm your host and caster Eagle Searcher. I'm joined today by casters Big Toe, Patch Tech, and our observer Dan Glam. Say hi, guys.
Hey, what's going on, people?
And our lobby is being formed up. We are about ready to go here in just a couple minutes. What are you looking for in the game today, guys?
Well, these teams, one thing to note first off is these teams did face each other in the first week of the season. So this is a rare opportunity to see teams play that know each other fairly well, fairly recently. So that's always fun. And yeah, I think it should be a pretty even series. Looking forward to it. How about you?
Oh yeah, we should see quite a bit of good StarCraft today. Eagleview may be coming in looking for some revenge. Red Hat looking to hold their sort of inter-team trophy. Countdown timer is firing off now, so we're about to get into it. Game number 1 between the Red Hatlings and SC2 and Eagleview SC2.
That's right. All right. So we got a ZVZ here, of course, for first match of the day. Don't know the ranking on Rainier, but of course Cyril is a diamond player. But yeah, starting off in the top right corner of our screen, playing for Eagleview today, we have Rainer. And in the bottom left corner of the screen, playing for Red Hat, we have Cyril.
All right.
And
So,
sorry
yeah.
guys, just a slight technical difficulty with the overlay. I currently don't have any video from the game. Getting that fixed right now.
Okay. Well, meanwhile, we've got typical builds so far, just some drone building, and earlier hatch down from Cyril, just by a second or so. But yeah, ZVZ, all about. Are we going to see some bling Muta? Are we going to see some Roach Ravager battles? I don't know, but I would like to see all of it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing. Especially mirrored ZVZ, you gotta get a little basic, a little expected. You know, the inhibitors against each other tend to just be ground units for a while. It'll be interesting to see if anybody tries anything abnormal here.
All right, game is live. Sorry, folks, slight technical difficulty, but from this point, Big Toe and Patch, take it away.
All right. Yeah, so not a ton to talk about right now, but you know, here we are approaching the mid-season for the season, and Red Hat is, I believe, what is the record right now, Patch? Are we 2 and?
I can't quite remember, to be honest.
I know we did have a loss last week, coming off that, and so yeah, looking to turn around this week and get some points on the board. So both players have near mirror builds. The work account, the supply, army count, almost everything is exactly the same. So yeah, even the Ling timings.
Yep. So Rainier's got some coming across the map right now, and Cyril sent some out as well. They're going to kind of meet up and kind of go in a separate ways. Rainier looks like he's going to try to secure map control. Get in here, tuck around into the natural, see what he can see.
Exactly. Thank you, Damn Glam, for highlighting that for us. So these Lings are just going to hang out, and you know, he's looking for a few things here. Not going to be able to do too much. Those eBays are going up. Roach Warren to make that wall. We got a Baneling Nest.
eBay.
Sorry,
Yeah,
Evolution Chamber and EC. I played too much Terran lately, apparently.
Apparently.
But yeah, there is more tech and of course a fast third coming down from Raynor. Yeah, so a lot of this early game is really about figuring out how much your opponent's droning, how much they're not droning, how much they're investing into tech or army units to come take you down. So, these players are near mirroring each other. So not a whole lot of surprises. We do have some more Lings though being rallied here from Raynor.
It looks like Cyril's going pretty defensive here. And trying to take it into Roach while Raynor's taking into Baneling here. So, be interesting. Raynor's just starting his Roach Warren while there's an attack going on in the main. Or in the natural. And Cyril looks like he holds it off pretty well.
Yeah, and of course Cyril is making no signs of taking a third. So we may be seeing some more aggressive play at him. That would make sense being the Roach player. Oh, he's bringing his spine crawlers. If we can see that there on your screen. So this is going to be some strong aggression out of Cyril. Should be interesting to watch.
It will. And these Roaches look like they're about to arrive, right? He's heading straight for the third.
Yep, he's coming up on the third. Going to try to get those spine crawlers in position. That's going to be a lot of damage he needs to get on the board. These Lings are going to attempt to get a surround on the Roaches. Do get a near surround. Get Queens in there.
Ravager.
Yeah. So those Roaches are late coming in.
Oh. That looks like Raynor will pretty much hold this for now. As Cyril's just kind of hanging back, trying to get him a little off creep here.
Yeah, this is he has much larger force from Raynor. Those spine crawlers are deep in enemy territory now. He's gonna try and back him up, but those are too many Roaches.
Yeah, and they're gonna get it before he buries.
This attack is over, unfortunately for our Red Hat player. So he's gonna have to figure out what's next.
Yep, Cyril goes back home, kind of licks his wounds a little bit here, and see if he can build up another army for another attack. Or it looks like Raynor's starting his march.
Yeah, Raynor has 22 Lings in production right now, if we look at that, and so he is not going to sit back and build up his economy. He smells blood, and he is going to lay down some hurt on Cyril, is what it's looking like.
Yeah, he goes ahead and starts morphing them Ravagers as well, hanging out right outside the ramp to the Cyril's natural. And see if Cyril's prepared to hold this.
This is going to be very tough for him to hold. He does have a nice semi-wall set up here. Queen's in position. He really needs to take out those Ravagers as best he can, because those are going to turn the tide in Raynor's favor. Starts chipping away at that evolution chamber.
And these Ridges look like they're kind of in hot water. They get a little bit of a surround by the Lings. But they're hanging on up, and Cyril just gives up the ghost.
There's our GG. Wow. That did not play out the way I thought it would. So Cyril, of course, went for this two-base timing, but, Raynor did a nice combination of... He really paid keen attention on how much droning he needed to do versus getting defenses, and found that perfect line.
Yep.
So that was our game one, and it was a fast one. So Eagle View will take point one, map one, and we'll move on to our next game of the day. And with that, we're going to be switching our casting team. So you will have Eagle and Patch casting match number 2, and I'm going to sit out and enjoy watching some Starcraft.
All right, thank you, Big Toe. Patch. So, what is our next matchup?
So the next one we have up is, is going to be Kodad Arson versus Lumery. could add Arson as a Diamond Protoss, Bloomery is a Diamond Zerg, and they'll be playing up on Nightshade LE. It's about an even map. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys bring to the field.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think our last map was. I think they were even maybe in MMR, but Cyril still tried to do that. I don't know if I would call it cheese. It was a different build. It's not one I've seen a whole lot of, really.
Yeah, I think he looked like he was just trying to go something a little different, a little non-standard, see if he could get that upper hand, and it just looks like Reyna was just a little prepared for it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It takes a long time for those spine crawlers to get across the map. We'll see if I don't imagine we'll see the same strategy again out of the Zerg from Eagleview. Of course, not going to be a mirror match this time. It will be PVZ, Coda Darson carrying the toss flag, full red hat. Looks like, yeah, matching up on Nightshade. It's a pretty small map. Rest distance is pretty short. And you know, those Protoss can be kind of cheesy.
Yeah. I've definitely died to my fair share of cannon rushes, and proxy Stargates would feel better as outside of my base.
Yeah, it
Can get a little frustrating. I mean, to the point that I've gone and done it to people myself on the ladder at this point, just to feel better about myself. Not for the lie.
That's right. That therapy build, good for rank points.
Yeah, getting everything set up here, it looks like. Be entering the game here in a minute. Yeah, so what's been going on? How you been doing, Eagle?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, staying in the house, getting outside, doing some gardening. Anything you can tell us about our... Oh, there's the timer. Looks like we're about getting ready to count down. Anything you can tell us about our charities for our teams today?
Yeah. So to start off with Red Hatlings as charity, we have the Hatlings Foundation. And this is kind of special to me because I've actually been a benefit of these guys personally. For those that don't know, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer a little over a year ago now, and this is one of the foundations that actually chipped in and gave us some help. So they ended up donating food, supplies, and they paid for a house cleaner to come twice a week. For about 6 months, we got weekly, or every other week, Schwann's delivery, things like that. They were a really big help, and we just kind of wanted to pay it forward by getting a little awareness out for them.
That sounds good. It's always good to sort of get that nice touch, you know, the personal touch. And this is why we're playing CEA. It's all for the charities. You know, we're having fun. We're amateur gamers. You know, we have real jobs. But at the end of the day, you know, the winner is going to give all this to the charity of their choice. But we have a pretty standard one starting out so far. Top left are blue Zerg from Eagleview Lumery, and the bottom right are red Protoss for the Red Hatlings. Very standard opener so far. Looks like Coda getting that wall going at his natural, getting some scouting information going through the Zerg base. He's going to see that sort of very normal timing on that spawning pool, on that hatch. Doesn't look like the Zerg's doing anything weird so far. Probably just leave his probe there for the meantime.
And there goes the Protoss and Nashville down, standard pylon at the net, gateway. A little spastic clicking for the probe, waiting to build. Looks like another gateway, or cybernetic score.
That's right. That spawning pool about to pop, so you know we'll start seeing what tech that the Zerg wants to travel down. You know, is he going to tech up, get some heavier units, maybe flood a lot of Lings out to start with? Coda deciding to get his Nexus down, getting that natural sort of situated. Sort of very standard build so far from both of our players. That Overlord sneaking his way into the back of the natural. Notably, not hanging out in the perch today. Looks like he just wants to get a good view of the mineral line up close and personal.
Not that Pope will try to sneak in for another peek, but the Lings will catch him and take care of it. And the Lings are starting to move across the map here. It looks like Lumary's just going to kind of go in and poke and say hi, see what Kodat has going on in the front.
Yeah, it's always good to see. You want to take a look at that front wall. Is the Protoss committing to? Does he have a bunch of forces there? Does he have an army at all? It's sometimes nothing at the front wall is a good sign that there may be something hiding, something proxied. But does see the full wall there. Does see the Robo Bay coming down. Warp Gate about a third of the way done. Maybe Koda may be looking for some Warp Prism play. Does have a couple of those Adepts guard the front wall. And just dropping a couple of pylons, getting the vision for that Overlord. Make sure that no kind of cheesy stuff, no Niduses. Just want to make sure you have full vision of your base. Those two Adepts sneak out for a second, almost let the Lings in, but Adept number 2 manages to plug the hole. And he's only going to take one Adept with him this time, but he does have 2 Adepts coming out of those gateways. So looks like maybe some heavy Adept play would be interesting. It may catch the Zerg off guard. The Zerg going up the 3 base. Especially if you can get that Warp Prism across the map and just start getting heavy unit production. Could be a lot of early pressure from our Protoss.
So looks like he gets a scout on the 3rd. He's going to go hop in and at least get some vision in on what's going on at the ramp right here. But chooses not to shade in, decides to run the depth away.
It does look like he's slowly maybe walling off that ramp. Reducing some of the surface area to attack up to. Does have those double Evo there. Not necessarily in the Zerg's best interest to create a small surface area for attacking, but does give him some protection from run-bys and things. That one Adept now has got to hold the line. You shall not pass. Does heavy damage to those light units, but they're just going to back up. A lot of Lings coming across the map now. Yeah. Looks like Lumary might be interested in making some pressure of his own.
It does. Maybe at least try to keep Kodat hanging around at the house instead of out on the map.
That's right, kids. Stay at home. Quarantine's in effect. Don't leave your bases. Make sure social distancing is being observed. Those Lings right now not observing social distancing.
Yeah, I think they're the enforcers, right? You leave the base, you leave your home, a pack of Lings is going to come up and say hi.
That's the reason why you stay inside anyway. And
Koda
Koda tries to go ahead and get to that 3rd down, but those Lings are going to go ahead and deny that. Probably looking to get the cancel off. It's getting really tight. Does get the cancel just in time. Gets that 300 mineral refund. Sends the probe down to start it once again. He's kind of got a little bit of a beefy army there. The Depths, the Stalkers, the Immortal. It's a pretty good answer. And his first Phoenix coming out of that Stargate that he started. So it's sort of the kitchen sink Protoss build that we've started to see a little bit more in some of these games.
Looks like he's going to go ahead and try to get that 3rd set up and protected. Have him maybe walling off a little bit there with some more gateways.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, Lumary going ahead taking his 4th. Zerg really wanting to stay at one base ahead, keep on effectively even economies. Zerg tend to be a little bit more sacrificial with their units. They want to get a bigger income, build a whole lot more units, and then kind of throw them away and keep doing damage. That one Ling does run forward to see the Protoss army coming. That is kind of a scary army. A lot of beefy boys in there. But we do have a run by at the 3rd for Koda. Looks like it's under attack from a bunch of Lings. He's gonna warp in 4 Adepts. That should be enough to, Zealots. It should be enough to drive them off, but is taking his time responding because across the map he is starting to move in. Lumary has a ton of roaches here. has a good concave as well. Players' focus is divided. Does decide to go ahead and recall his army. Needs to defend that third. Cannot lose that at this point.
And it's already got quite a bit of health down. Looks like a couple of units still get stuck across the map. Missed the recall home, and Louis is going to move out with his attack force.
That is a solid number of roaches now. And Lumery has a major supply advantage. Is up 30 supply, but most notably up 50 supply in army. Coda a slight advantage in workers, but workers don't win you the game. You do need to have an army to go kill the other opponent's base.
Looks like Coda Arson's just kind of hanging out by the shield battery, hoping to take a little bit of advantage of that while trying to keep this army at bay. One gateway is already powered down.
Yeah, he also lost his cyber core, so no more stalkers. It looks like he's maybe a little lost right now. Doesn't quite know how to deal with all these immortals in his base, or excuse me, roaches in his base. They might as well be immortal because they're not dying. The Void Ray comes out. Notable thing about roaches, Patch, they don't shoot up.
They don't, and this might be what at least keeps Coda Arson in the game, is if he can get out some more Void Rays.
Does have 2 Void Rays being chronoed out, as well as an Immortal. Immortal just pops before the Robo-Gay goes down, but there's the GG. Eagleview out to a quick 2-0 start.
Yeah, so that's kind of tough, you know, especially when you end up in that type of position to really hold it and keep people out. So, getting back on the charities, the charity for Eagleview is the Ocean Conservancy. The Ocean Conservancy mission is working with you to protect the ocean from today's greatest global challenges. Looks like they are interested in saving the oceans. Together we create science-based solutions for a healthy ocean and wildlife communities.
There you go. So, you know, save the oceans. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world right now. Obviously, a lot of great charities that are out there doing a lot of good. Of course, these charities were chosen before the season. Otherwise, I feel like we might have a slightly different theme. But with that, Eagleview now up 2-0 on the Red Hatlings. It's time for a rally, if I've ever seen one. However, if you will recall, back to Week 1, our previous matchup between these two teams, Red Hat also started the series down 0-2 and came back to rally, win 3 in a row, and take the series. Of course, you know, one of the pivotal moments there in Game 4, Patch, you were there when you took a game from an opponent that basically didn't show up.
Correct, and that's what we have up next as well, is the Eagleview DJ Rufio, which it actually does look like he is on now, so we won't, Red Hat won't get that lucky win that we had last time around in Game 4, so it looks like Veloso Toss will have to actually pick a win from him. Hopefully we can at least get this going.
That's right. So, lobby being formed up now for our next game. Velocitas and DJ Rufio looks like a PVT on Eternal Empire.
Looks like Terran's favorite on that map a little more than anything. So DJ Rufio might have a slight upper hand there.
That's right. It is kind of a little bit of a bigger map. There's sort of a lot of terrain that the Terran can use. Of course, you know, some of our win percentages here not based on a whole lot of data. It's still a pretty new season. Anything can happen. But it looks like we're going to see a slight shift in our casting rotation once again. So thanks for hanging out with us, Patch. We're going to welcome Big Toe back in.
lobby here. Just checking out our chat. I see some folks there. And yeah, looking forward to Game 3. We got a PVT, the first one of the day. What do you think we're going to be seeing, Eagle? Have any guesses?
Oh, well, like everybody loves a big, big macro game. Go deep, see some big armies clashing against each other. But honestly, I'd like to see Red Hat win. More StarCraft is always better StarCraft.
That is right. Yeah, it would be nice to get a win on the Red Hat side. And we get more StarCraft. Red Hat gets the opportunity to win the match. And
that's right. It is do or die right now for Red Hat. They really need this win, otherwise the series is over.
Yeah. So in the top right corner of the screen, we have playing for eagleviewSC2. It is DJ Rufio for all those Parks and Rec fans out there.
And in the bottom left corner, wearing the red trunks for the Red Hatlings, it is Felicitas. The weight is on his shoulder now. This is the ace match. Eagleview looking to take the day. Red Hat looking to be a spoiler.
Yeah, so we should point out there is a rank difference in these two players in the advantage to Red Hat, so that's something their team can hope for. Not that necessarily means the outcome is going to be that way, but an advantage they have.
Right. Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of times here in the CEA. Of course, these aren't professional players. These aren't necessarily top tier elite type of people, but we've seen upsets before. We've seen the David versus Goliath. We've seen the slightly underrated person take out the higher rated person. There's a lot that preparation can do for you if you know that your opponent likes to prepare certain builds, likes to do certain things. You have the opportunity in the format, the CEA, to prepare something special for him. Really, shut down his gameplay.
That's right. And we do have a pretty much normal timing coming on both the players. Felicitas is gonna sit here and make sure he guards that expo. Really important to know when the Terran is taking their natural.
Right. The Reaper coming out for DJ Rufio though should drive that probe away. SCV is gonna walk down there. It does look like he wants to start on the low ground, but that probe just being so annoying. And the SCV watching.
This is where I'm gonna build a base.
Reaper decides, nah, bro, you got this, and just leaves.
That SCV looks really kind of confused as that probe is just sort of looking at him. All right, now the brawl has started between the workers. Advantage SCV. Here we go. Close in. Oh, man.
There's the explosion. See, you know what I like to think there is that the SCV was just studying his opponent. Waiting for the probe to make the wrong move, looking for a weakness he could exploit, and saw his moment and just went in for the kill. That is one ruthless SCV.
You're right. You could say that is a microcosm of what StarCraft is about. Learning your opponent, seeing what they're going to do, scouting their intentions, and then going in for the kill.
Clearly, if Felicitas follows that and continues to just move his units in a, regular pattern without attacking back, it might spell doom for him.
That is accurate. This Reaper is going to go ahead and do what he's supposed to do and slow down the economy and kill some probes. That first one goes down, gets a nice grenade there. Couple of probes.
Does get the surround, though. Isn't microing him quite well enough. The Adept shows up late, says, hey guys, I heard there was a guy here. Oh, you already took care of him.
Yeah, and we do have a pretty early starport. Looks like a 1-1-1 build here out of DJ Rufio. And we got charge being researched there for Felicitas. Gets a shield battery set up, kind of a standard play, but this looks like we might have a tank medevac or liberator push coming out from
yeah, it's a little interesting. It does have those 6 Marines already. The Marines not going to be quite as effective against the charge lots. Honestly, when I saw that starport go down so fast, I was wondering if we were going to see the BC Rush, popular.
BC Rush.
Popular among Terrans trying to increase their rank on the ladder. It's pretty effective.
The wider community has caught on to its effectiveness, I will say, and I was a previous beneficiary of that. Times are getting tougher. But that nicely placed observer, he's going to see that army movement. Just 4 Marines, not too much for him to worry about right now. But the question is, what is the follow-up?
Right. Both sides looking like they're just trying to macro up, go into that mid to late game, get those really powerful armies, try to hit some sort of timing. Army count's pretty low right now, just trying to get all them workers out. Of course, Protoss with a nice worker lead, they do have that macro advantage, being able to chrono their workers. Meanwhile, Terran just starting to get beefy. Got the Liberators, 2 tanks. Just looks like he might want to hang out at home and just sort of build up.
And we do have Charge finishing up as shield battery and additional tech options coming down. So this is progressing fairly slowly. Velocitas is adding some more gates and see some additional production as well from DJ Rufio. Does not look like either player is all inning. However, we do have a push being started, and it's going to fly right over that observer path. So Velocitas knows exactly what's happening.
Yeah, now would be a great time to start throwing down some shield batteries, get some defenses, get some army. Currently, DJ Rufio with a starting to build an army advantage, 32 to 22 in the army supply count. Velocitas has a shield battery and no army in sight. A couple of zealots, a couple of depths. They might have some trouble with this sort of powerful marine tank push coming.
Yeah, we should note that stim is not even close to being done, so that is going to be a big factor in this battle. But here comes the battle. The charge lots come in. Nice guardian shield goes up. Those tanks are really shelling on those. Those stalkers are coming into the battle a bit late. Shield battery is helping out, and going to get a nice hit on this first tank. First tank goes down. But this is looking still dangerous for Velocitas here.
That's right. He's going to go ahead and pull the boys. They're going to go ahead and get the surround on that tank. The Liberator probably had a little bit to do with that. He's just kind of poking around in the mineral lines. Does hold there. Very minimal defense. Does get the siege from the Liberator on the main line. Is going to stop him from mining for a second, but the Stalker there is there to drive him away.
That's right. And for anyone that's been watching our cast over multiple weeks, you'll note that is not the first time we have seen an army of probes surround a siege tank and murder it.
That is correct. You'd almost say it looks like a pretty powerful strategy at this point. Probes, OP, David Kim, please nerf.
So when we look at the production tab, you can see just how much DJ Rufio has going on right now. We have Stim about to finish, and those +1 upgrades going and some additional attacking units. But this game does look like it's going to stabilize. It might just be some skirmishes until then.
I do like what Velocitas is doing here. Has the observers out on the map, just being very, very active with his map vision, making sure he knows where that Terran army is, knows the composition of it, so he can have basically just enough at home to defend with. But Medevac's loading up now. Looks like we have a Doom drop potentially incoming. We'll see. DJ Rufio hasn't seen the third, but probably expects it to be there. Just some game sense probably kicking in. He's going to fly right past the third, though. Oh, nope, diverts. Is going to take his army into the main. Is going to see all of the gateways. So many gateways.
Yeah, he's put in the pocket. Did forget one drop, one medevac. Brings it in now. Nice surround. That tank is low. Here come those charge lots. They're going to chew right through those Marines and get on top of that tank. This looks like this drop's going to be shut down. Does have a full medevac and a half he gets away with, though. Goes down to the third. Starts doing some damage down there.
That's right. He probably needs to take them stalkers and start focusing down those medevacs. Take away the mobility from those Marines. Once you take that away, then charge lots can come in and do their thing. Is starting to chew away the numbers, though. Does pick up, has one full medevac, is going to go right back to the high ground. Cleans up that last Marauder who didn't catch a ride. Thinks about dropping, and goes ahead and commits to it. A little bit late there. Still losing a lot, while Velocitas not really losing a lot of workers in return. DJ Rufio still slightly ahead on the supply.
Yep.
However, Velocitas with that third base established, even though he lost a few workers there, still maintaining that worker advantage. So DJ Rufio going to throw down his third as he looks to continue moving his army across the map. Maybe try to keep the pressure on the Protoss, keep him from building up that scary death ball.
Yeah, so as we get to this part of the game, of course, the Protoss really needs to have some form of splash damage. We do see the choice of Velocitas is Pisonic Storm. Wise choice.
It's a good choice, and with ground weapons too also finishing, he's going to be in. He's starting to get scary. Of course, that Protoss army scales so well with those upgrades. As he gets more and more upgrades, it's going to be harder and harder to punch through. DJ Rufio with 1-1 himself, but no tank upgrades on the way yet.
Yeah, exactly. Seeing a bit of a difference there. Does have looks like he is posturing here to make a push here. Tank's really about using the terrain of the map to your advantage. So we can see this pile of rocks down here in the lower left of our screen. An excellent spot to see some tanks behind. Looks like he might be moving that position, but if you look right over his head, what is that? It is another one of Velocitas' observers.
Exactly. Now, the only problem with that little valley there is that it is a valley. Does a good job, puts tanks right in the choke, but nothing to stop the charge lots from charging in. Those zealot legs that he researched early on are just proven to be so useful. Gets the feedback on that medevac to chew it up, but that was just a diversion. There's a hit squad coming in on the third base. Doesn't get set up in time, though. Able to quickly clean up the first army and then come in and take out the secondary army.
We do have a simultaneous battle happening at the natural, so it was a bit of a split push while the army was divided. Two medevacs do get in some probe kills and head out and rejoin their other forces in the middle.
Looks
here.
like just 2 probe kills, though, so not very effective. Both of those front 2 pushes and the third push easily shut down, and shut down sequentially. Normally, you'd like them all to hit at the same time, but Velocitas was able to rotate his army, take out one army at a time, and really take advantage of that Protoss A move.
That Protoss A move, it is feared. So we do have a bunch of upgrades finishing, as we can see on the right side of your screen for DJ Rufio. That will help him out in the long run, especially concussive shells is an important one to have done, and he's a bit late getting it.
Yeah, concussive shells so good against those charging zealots, but important to note that 2-2 puts him basically on par, but only for the next few seconds, as you see there. Ground weapons 3 finishing for the Protoss. Those Protoss ground units about to start doing a lot of damage.
That's right. We are headed to the late game, and we do have a big supply difference. So Velocitas, of course, is operating at an advantage here. If you were DJ Rufio, you probably want to make this game last a bit longer.
That's right, but I think DJ Rufio's taking a good approach here. He knows that that Protoss army is starting to look very scary, and if he tries to engage it head on, it's probably going to be bad for him. So he's been dropping, he's been moving around, doing a good job with finally takes out that observer who's seen everything so far. It's going to take those rocks down. I'm not sure that's the best move for him. In this case, giving more surface area to those zealots. Huge storms! Huge storms! And this is devastating for our Terran.
Yeah, that did not go well for him. Of course, again, that we got to give Velocitas some credit there. That didn't happen by accident. This observer placement is a big reason why that happened. So he can now do basically whatever he wants, and he is going to choose to that Protoss A move we talked about. Well, he can probably just A move into that third base there.
That's right. Now, DJ Rufio getting that 4th established there in the sort of middle right, but it's not going to matter here in a second because this is just so much Protoss army coming in, and DJ Rufio just doesn't have much at home. Notably, those zealots made it across the map before the army returning home. Does have a couple tanks there, not sieged up. Zealots are going to make quick work of those. Shields 1 about to finish, just going to make those Archons that much scarier. And there's the GG, the start of the Red Hat comeback, as I like to say.
All right, well, Yeah, Red Hat does put a point on the board, and so we're gonna have a 1-2 match score with Eagleview leading. But that will bring us to Game 4, so we'll get to see some more action. I believe we got a ZVT in the works. Yes, we do. It is gonna be Mr. Sleep from Red Hat facing
Maftar.
Bathtub. Yeah. But yeah, I'm jumping ahead. So that game. So Eagle, what do you think DJ Rufio could have done differently in that game to even it up?
You know, I think he was maybe sitting back a little bit too much. You know, I think he had the right goals there, sort of getting those multi-prong attacks, keeping the Protoss army split up. I think that first push from the Terran was actually it was a good timing. Right before Philosopos really had much of an army. Scary push. I think it was maybe 8 Marines and 2 tanks. You know, really could have done some damage. Philosopos held off basically by pulling his workers.
Yeah, exactly. That was the most dangerous point in the game for him, and it was a well-executed push from DJ Rufio. Just not, you know, when you pull the boys, you pull the boys, and you just got to see what happens, and they came out on top.
That's right, and as we know, our history here in CEA, of course, says pulling the boys against tanks, clearly the best move.
This stream would confirm that for you. If you were ever wondering if it was viable, you just watch our stream, and you have proof. So use it on the ladder. You're welcome. And there we go. But we are going to move into Game 4 of the day. Again, it is still match point with Eagleview at 2 wins. So I am hoping Mr. Sleep can emerge victorious here. Always like to see some ZVT.
That's right, and as we move into Game 4, we're going to be rotating our casters once more. So from here on out, you're going to hear the sweet, subtle voices of Big Toe and Patch. Take it away, guys.
All right. And just to put it there, yeah, I like how we keep talking about how I died to mass probes. Makes me so happy.
So this game that we've been referencing with a full surround by an army of probes on a siege tank, that was unfortunately our beloved caster and friend Patch Tech here. But you know, he did have a lot of fun in that game. He told us so. We thought it was fair game, but we'll have to read.
I just needed something to come in on, you know. I had to act like I was all upset. Make a little controversy for the stream.
I mean, controversy is what the stream needs. We all know numbers and controversy. They just go get it. So, but yeah, starting off the match today, we're gonna look at our player in the top middle of the screen. We do have playing from Eagleview. It is Malftar.
Alright, and in the middle-ish right of the screen for Red Hatlings, we have Mr. Sleep. I hear he's really good with choker holds.
He is known to put many a player to sleep. You could call him the Jigglypuff of StarCraft. So, yeah. Do you have any? What would you like to see from the game today, Patch?
Oh, I don't know. I'm a Terran at heart, you know.
You got alliances here and races mixed.
Yeah. So generally, yeah. I don't know. We haven't really had a cheese today.
A cheese would be nice.
See, you know, be curious to see what we get. Looks like we're not going to get it out of the Terran, at least. The Rax is already building. I couldn't tell if we got pull first, 12 pull out of sleep or not, but we'll see.
We do have a long cinematic slow journey of this Overlord approaching Malfar's base. And thank you, Damn Glam, for letting us watch that. I enjoyed that, frankly. So
the thing about those little circles is, especially in such a situation where these bases are distance-wise so close together, the air distance is very quick. Honestly, in this type of situation back in the day, without these guys, I would have created a Banshee or something and went and just annoyed the crap out of them out of the gate. So it normalizes the air distance on the map.
Yeah,
Makes it a little harder to just go straight to air and just destroy your opponent.
exactly. And this Reaper is going to come in, sees that hatch already finished, and these 4 lings are going to push him back, of course, as he micros his heart out to run away from those little buggers. And yeah, we have a bunch of lings being made from Mr. Sleep, as well as tech paths coming down from Malftar, the factory, almost done.
And looks like this Reaper will go in for another poke, perhaps around the 3rd. Potentially just to keep an eye on that to see when Mr. Sleep moves out for his next set bases.
Exactly. That is going to tell him a whole lot about what the Zerg's intentions are, whether he takes a 3rd, and when he does so. Usually a sign that a large push is coming your way if the Zerg does not take a 3rd. So, and speaking of that, on the production tab in the top left of the screen, you can see there's a bunch of Zerglings being made. Baneling Nest is almost done. Ling Speed's about halfway. Now up to 20 Zerglings in the pipe.
Ooh. Yeah, it looks like Mr. Sleep might try to shove these Zerglings down Maftar's throat. I don't know if he has any answers at home, really. I haven't seen really any siege tanks or anything. And it looks like he has a bunker out front. But he will see the Masslings moving out.
You're right. He does see it. So if we look at Malftar's natural here,
Go ahead and wall it off.
we'll see that he did complete a. Yeah, that looks like it's a wall. There might be a
There's
gap
bunker.
there.
Yeah.
Is there a gap? It's hard to tell.
There's at least a Ling-sized gap between the bunker and that middle supply depot there.
It sure looks like it. So he doesn't have any more time. Oh, wait, we were wrong. No gap.
Oh.
I thought there was a gap too. He is going to get a repair on that bunker, push back these lings, but remember, what do we have? Well, there you go. 9 banelings. So that wall is not going to last very long. He's going to be knocking on the door saying, hey, do you mind if I get in here and see what you got going on inside?
Now here'll be what's key if he can break this. Oh, and there's the siege tank. The siege tank shuts down. So Mr. Sleep will have to go back home and transition into something else as Maftar was able to keep Mr. Sleep out of the front door.
Yeah, so that Reaper Scout, of course, was very key. He would have most likely been dead without that last-minute wall.
Yep.
So
it is literally what saved his bacon.
That's right. So Mr. Sleep does have a ton of lings out, and we should say he is on 2 bases. This is almost an all-in. If we look at the worker count, I would call it an all-in. Actually, he's down 15 workers. No 3rd hatch even started. It's going to be very hard for him to transition out of this.
Yeah, he pretty much needs to go ahead and try to get another base and get out while he has the army lead. But I don't know if he's going to be able to do that or not. Looks like there's something at his natural, maybe a liberator.
Oh yeah, so you have denied mining. The queens are coming down. They do not move fast off creep. You're gonna go. Gotta watch out for that liberator path. Okay, does dodge it, push that liberator out, and get his mining back control. Because as we can see, the rates of his mining are really low, and he's quite a bit down. So
his economy is really hurting right now, and Maftar's taking over the army lead as well. It looks like he's pretty much has this at this point. Mr. Sleep needs to make some decisive decisions here to stay in the game.
Yeah, so and if you're watching now and wondering why we're saying that it's looking dire for Mr. Sleep, well, there's some indicators of just the supply in the lower left corner. He's down. His worker count is nearly half, and he's chosen to take an aggressive strategy, and that either works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, you are in a big disadvantage because Malftar is playing for a later point in the game.
Yeah. So we got some medevacs out now. Looks like he might be trying to set up a drop. Looks like he's going to try to bridge that gap right there for the air and try to catch Mr. Sleep off guard.
Yeah, I'd like to see Mr. Sleep do something out of the ordinary. He is getting the lair now. I think maybe a Nidus might be an option for him. He's going to be pretty unlikely to break open the front door, so why not drop some banelings in? Do something like that.
Looks like the drop's moving out. Stem's about to finish. That looked like what Maptar was waiting on. We have 1-1 coming up here. And Mr. Sleep is just not at home. This is going to be painful.
He is going to find this at the last minute, and there we go. Now pulling drones. He's going to lose a lot of his army trying to deal with this, and that layer might even go down, and that is probably GG if that happens.
Yep, and there it goes. Mr. Sleep now officially on one base, losing most of his army to try to get this cleaned up. And Maptar will go home, but a lot of damage has been done now. 32 workers, 16 army supply versus 50 workers and 65 army supply. That is one deficit to try to close up here.
Yeah, it's I'm not really sure what to advise it here. You know, Mr. Sleep doesn't have many options. At this point he's really going to have to rely on a mistake from Malftar. You know, banelings can get some work done, so you never count out banelings.
Looks like Maptar just kind of has his army hanging around on the front there. Mr. Sleep doesn't have vision on that third base that Maptar just took. So just now trying to get his 2 base back up. He really needs to try to get another base. Another drop looks like it's heading inbound. This might be the one that takes it.
Yeah, we do have a 2 medevac follow-up. Mr. Sleep does have some overlords slowly putzing their way over into position, but looks like the main attack is happening at the front.
Looks like it's going to be a double prong situation. He's going to drop on one side and then attack with the other. Yeah, and there goes the drop coming in.
Yeah, overlords. This is looking bad.
And here comes Maptar in the front door as well. Mr. Sleep's army just melts to Maptar's army there. And there
goes the GG, and that will be the match today with a 1-3 map score in favor of Eagleview. They will take the match today. A valiant effort by Mr. Sleep and the rest of the Red Hat squad, and but the win does go to Eagleview today.
Yeah, kind of sad to see that for my boys. They were doing great. Every game was done well. Just this time around, Eagleview took the upper hand. That's what happened. Good matches, good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. We got to say, I mean, to Mr. Sleep's credit, that had that Reaper not, or even if that Reaper had gotten the scout off 5-10 seconds later, he may have opened up that wall, and the game would have been very different. So it just goes to show you how Starcraft is such a game of, it can be boiled down to these crucial actions, and that was one of them.
Yeah, that Reaper scouting that army was the game winner there. Sure.
Yep. And, but yeah, enjoy the rest of the games. And Eagle, if you'd like to join us here and just talk over some of the matches, games for today.
Yeah, as a disappointing result for Red Hat, of course, Eagleview able to come in and take revenge. So season series now tied up 1-1. I'm not sure if there is a scenario where we get to play them again this season. A little bit of a weird format. Currently in the round robin stage. After a few weeks of Swiss, everybody's been sort of sorted out into their own little brackets, their own little group pools. So after this week, with Eagleview in the books, we will potentially be facing either Microsoft Bill 4 Gates, which we previously faced off against in Week 4, or IBM Virtual Private Carriers.
Yeah, thank you for laying out those matchups, and yeah. So, what is Red Hat's? Not to poke a wound here, but what is the score we have for the season?
We are now 0-1 because the Swiss doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay. All All right. So do have a nice reset, at least to get a fresh start.
It matters. It matters in a small. I should correct myself. The outcome of the Swiss has led to essentially 5 group pools being formed based on the rankings from the 4 weeks of Swiss. So Red Hat currently competing in the pool number 4. Will be competing for, I believe, roughly the 11 through 16 seed is sort of the range that they're targeted, that they could potentially get in the playoffs. Of course, that loss today kind of hurts in the group standings. So far, we do have one other result from our group. Looks like Microsoft able to take out IBM. So we'll see. It'd be good to see that matchup with Bill for Gates next week, or seeing a new opponent, IBM, would also be pretty fun.
Of course, the parent company of Red Hat, so there's some fun competition there. But any words, Patch, on the series today?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, being a caster, I always like to have good games. Being a Red Hatling, I want to see my team just murder the other team decisively, 3-0, no question. But so those 2 conflicting priorities, but I enjoyed the games. They were great. We could definitely see those key moments where someone took over. So some really good Starcraft today. Really good.
Yeah. Yes, it's multiple games today had those key moments. We of course talked about the Reaper, but yeah, we got to see some solid Starcraft, and we'll hope for a win on the board for Red Hat next week. But do you have anything else to say, Eagle? Take us out?
Yeah, so speaking of next week, you can catch us here every Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. More CEA Spring 2020 StarCraft 2 action with your Red Hatlings. I am Eagle Searcher, your host today. Until next time, GG.